feels so good to be back here behind this camera talking about an Angels episode. Dude, where have you been? You're missing so much! Seriously, it's been like a week since you've been here. Haven't you noticed what's been happening?
Calm down.
Oh, I've been here. I've been stuck with this thing called life, and I've also been keeping up with the games with this wonderful thing called technology. Shocking, I know. I actually do use technology. So, today, my friends, we did miss the Giants series reaction, but I will briefly discuss that because that was probably the craziest and probably one of the worst extra inning Angels games I've watched in my life. We will also talk about the series that we played in St. Petersburg versus the Tampa Bay Rays, and then we will preview the upcoming 4-game series in the Bronx against the New York Yankees.
When you can feel the world shake from the words that I said, and I call it all angels, and I call it all you angels.
Welcome everybody to the latest episode of the Angels Recap Series. This is going to be episode number 24 on the show, and let's get right into the Giants series where we lost both of them, and my friends, they were really, really bad. So game 2 was mostly good. We had the Battle of the Aces. For us, Shohei Ohtani went up against their ace, Kevin Gausman. Gausman has been pitching like Jacob deGrom this year. I'm sure most of you guys know who deGrom is. He was 7-2 coming into his last start with against the Phillies. His ERA was .5.
Impossible.
That is not a mistake. It was .5 his ERA. It was that low, and somehow he had 2 losses. His little scoreless streak did end though. And one random fact, when it comes to Phillies Mets, Aaron Nola of the Phillies, a pitcher, struck out 10 consecutive batters at one point in a row, tying the all-time Major League record, or I think it was the Major League record set by Mets Hall of Fame pitcher Tom Seaver. Tip the cap to Mr. Nola. Now back to Angels stuff. The game would go scoreless into the 5th when the teams would trade solo home runs. Mike Yastrzemski for the Giants, the grandson of Carl Yastrzemski, and
I'm kind of confused.
Luis Rengifo homered. That is not supposed to happen. Why did he hit a home run? Oh, the ball must have carried, but I'm honestly shocked. That's probably my second favorite moment of all of Rengifo in his years here. But anyway, let's stop complaining about Luis. Game would go scoreless for the next few innings, and then comes the 12th inning, where it got so crazy because Kurt Suzuki earlier took a foul ball off of his mask. And we had to have Taylor Ward, who was apparently drafted as a catcher, go play behind the plate in place of Kurt. Griffin Canning had to go out and play left field where Taylor Ward originally was. And then we were out of bench players because Upton was still injured at the time. Dylan Bundy, our worst starting pitcher this year, had to come up in a clutch situation with runners on base, and he predictably struck out. Honestly, that's almost like Little League Baseball when you run out of guys and you have to go to pitchers to hit. The Angels did tie it in the 12th, momentarily won it, but a challenge with everybody's favorite system known as replay proved otherwise. And then the 13th is where it gets bad. We had used a bunch of pitchers, so we had to go to one of our not as good pitchers by the name of Alex Claudio. He got 1 out, bases loaded with 2 walks, and the third guy walked. And then probably our worst reliever, Junior Guerra, came in. A wild pitch. Then a 2 RBI base hit to Steven Duggar, and then probably the most painful was the 3-run home run to Mike Tauchman. And the thing about Tauchman in that game, guys, before that home run, he went 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts. The Platinum Sombrero. Mike Tauchman is now the first player in MLB history to accomplish that feat. And now we get into the Rays series, and oof. Game 1, though, was pretty okay. I mean, Shohei Ohtani led off the game with a solo home run. Boy, ever since I was dunking on him earlier in the year before the Mariners series, he has just been on fuego. Rendon hit a home run. I know Rendon's memes Instagram account was salivating over that. Taylor Ward forgot how to catch a ball, so that happened. And the Rays would take the lead after the first. We eventually got tied on a fielder's choice, and then not a whole lot of offense happened. We made it all the way into the bottom of the 7th inning. Jose Suarez had relieved our starting pitcher, Griffin, who did all right. We had the bases loaded, and ultimately it was a hit by pitch on Brandon Lau.
You must be kidding!
To force in the go-ahead run, subsequently winning the Rays game 1. Ouch is right. In the 9th inning, Diego Castillo, the closer, was throwing sliders that were so far away that they were socially distanced from the strike zone. And then we get into Saturday's game. Oh man, what happened here? I thought, like, this game was good through 4 innings. Like, we came back to tie it. Rendon fought off a 100-mile-an-hour fastball from rookie Shane McClanahan to make 3-2, but then just Cobb couldn't get the pitches executed that he wanted to, and it led to him giving up 5,000 runs. Okay, maybe not that, but we ended up eventually losing 13-3 as the Rays scored 4 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and 5 in the 7th. But then Sunday, today that I'm shooting this video, much better, with the Angels coming out victorious, 6-4 the final. Patrick Sandoval had a no-hitter through 4, which is awesome. For the scoring, Phil Gosselin was the beneficiary of an E4 from the aforementioned Brandon Lau. But then that same guy, Lau, homered to make up for his mistake. Ohtani has been just on fire, and he hit an RBI double. Everybody's favorite reliever, Mike Mayers, gives up a home run to the former Angel G-Man Choi. Remember that guy?
Nope.
I didn't. After this point, I thought we were completely dead, except for the fact that Juan Lagares did a thing. He got his 11th double. That's impressive. And then Ohtani hits a triple. Let's watch him run.
Shohei rocket down the line, into the corner it goes. Ohtani with another extra base hit. He's looking 3 toward that bag, in there with the stand-up triple. And Shohei gets it done.
Anybody on the mound against Shohei Ohtani. And that's a little spinning pitch. It stays on the inner half, sped up his bat, and he rocketed that ball down in the corner. How quick those hands, how strong he is.
That man is not from planet Earth. You know, we always talk about Shohei Ohtani, but guys, I think you gotta give some credit to Phil Gosselin. But this year, in the few games that he's played with us, he demolishes left-handed pitching in 2021. However, Gosselin, here he's facing Matt Whistler, a righty, in the top of the 8th inning. What will he do?
The Goose, he's got a couple of hits. Drives that one down the line into the corner. That baseball goes towards the pole. That one got up and got out of here. Oh, fly high, Goose. That's a homer. The Angels lead it.
Who wants to watch Shohei Ohtani be very strong for about 30 seconds?
Tracking to the wall. Gone.
Seriously, Ohtani is not human. Did you see where the pitch was? That was middle in. And that was a running fastball from Fairbanks. That's very impressive. And the fact that he took him the other way, 107 off the bat. The Yankees haven't been super elite this year, believe it or not. We're going to see some different pitchers that we haven't seen. First one, for the 40 and 37 Yankees, it will be Michael King. King is 6'3", 210, young 26-year-old, a former 12th round pick of the Marlins and a Boston College product. This is his first year in the league. 0-3, ERA 4.05, opposes Dylan Bundy, who is 1-7 with a 6.68 ERA. Next up is going to be, for the Yankees, Jameson Taillon going up against Andrew Heaney. Taillon is a former Pirate, and he had so much potential, but he had a lot of injuries, and he's a cancer survivor. That's always cool to see. Yeah, he was that high of a draft pick. He was the second overall pick in the 2010 draft.
Nice.
A native of Lakeland, Florida. He had so many injuries that he dealt with. A couple of Tommy Johns is an example of that. Ouch! Next up, Wednesday, Ohtani going out, and he will oppose Domingo Germán. Germán this year is 4-5 with a 4.32 ERA. He goes 6'2", 181, native of the Dominican Republic. And then to close out this 4-game series in the Bronx, we will get Griffin Canning on the bump, and he will oppose Jordan Montgomery. Montgomery is a tall man, lefty pitcher, 6'6", 228, 28 years old. A 4th round draft choice out of South Carolina. Montgomery is 3-2, ERA is 4.06. Griffin Canning has a sub-5 ERA, specifically 4.95, and a 5-4 record. So the Yankees have some big name players that we need to keep our eyes this year. One of these examples is going to be Aaron Judge, an outfielder who plays right, and he can play center too. Judge is a gargantuan human being, a native of Linden, California, and a 1st round draft pick in 2015 of the Yankees. Luke Voigt, who's had a lot of injuries this year, is another big man and a super big power hitter. He can beat the ever-loving crud out of a baseball. I've watched some of his homers. They travel for days. Giancarlo Stanton is another one, the DH. That man, if you throw him an off-speed pitch, he'll strike out, but he's another good hitter, so keep your eye on that guy. Let's also watch for Gary Sanchez, the catcher of the Yankees. He's hot and cold, but he's had a few hot games recently. He had a couple clutch homers as well. Also watch for the shortstop, Gleyber Torres, who was a very highly touted prospect. Now the predictions, for the Angels players to watch, let's keep an eye out for David Fletcher, who, Mr. Contact as I like to call him. Let's also watch for Phil Gosselin. I know that's not a very popular pick, but I gotta tell you guys, Gosselin's been very underrated, I think. He's not getting talked about. Destroys left-handed pitches, as I mentioned earlier in the episode. Let's also watch for Anthony Rendon, the third baseman. He didn't really do good in today's game, but he had a couple of hits, including a home run on Friday. And let's also keep an eye out for Taylor Ward, the right fielder. He had 2 hits in today's game, and he's had a couple of pretty solid ones. That is when he's not swinging at pitches socially distancing from the strike zone. Predictions, Game 1. We are going to lose as Michael King gets his first career win against us, and Bundy loses another game, probably on the road to being DFA'd. And we lose that game by a score of 6-2. In the 3rd game, it's going to be Taillon against Heaney. We are going to take Game 2 by a score of 8-6. Germán and Ohtani, that's going to be a 7-4 win. And then the early game on Thursday at 10:05 Pacific, so enjoy breakfast with that game. Canning does not pitch well in the daytime. I don't really have a good book on Montgomery, and he will probably beat us by a score of, let's go 7-1. I don't like doing that, but that's what I'm going with. Okay, my friends, that's it for this episode. Tell me what you thought of it in the comments section below. Click the bell for notifications. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Have a good night, everybody. Stay safe. Go Angels! Let's get another win.